Good morning, ladies. Welcome to day one of the 5-day Balance and Burn Challenge. I am super excited. Today, we are going to discuss the 3 biggest mistakes women make when it comes to their nutrition. So if you are tuning in live, hashtag I'm here in the comments to let me know that you're here. If you do end up watching the replay, make sure you hashtag replay in the comments to let me know that you have indeed watched this live. If you have any questions, feel free to either drop them here in the comments in the video, or you can drop any questions, comments, feedback in the group chat that we have going on in Trainerize. So if I asked you the question, what are the 3 biggest mistakes that women make when it comes to their nutrition? What do you think that those 3 things are? And unfortunately, I can't see the comments when I am live, but let's see if I can pull them up on my computer. I can. So if you have any feedback, then drop those comments in the comment section below. I'm curious what you think are the 3 biggest mistakes women make when it comes to their nutrition. And I'm gonna dive right in because I wanna get right to it. And the number 1 mistake that women make when it comes to their nutrition is that they undereat, they fast, they skip meals, they skip breakfast, and that just leads to a wealth of issues such as low energy, low blood sugar, increased cortisol, cravings, poor food choices for the rest of the day, binge eating, low mood, and some hormone imbalances. So I'm gonna dig in a little bit deeper when it comes to blood sugar, cortisol, and hormones, because this is ultimately what this challenge is all about. If we skip meals, specifically breakfast, because cortisol it's a good thing. And I think cortisol gets a bad reputation, but cortisol is highest in the morning. If we skip breakfast, fast too long, our body will actually release more cortisol, spike your cortisol higher than it should be. And it does that because it signals the body to release glucose, to release sugar. And I don't want to get too sciencey here, but that's ultimately what ends up happening. So if women tell me, but I'm just not hungry in the morning, I feel good, I've got great energy, it's because you are running off cortisol. Cortisol is energizing. It picks you up, but then you end up with some hormone imbalances, cravings, low energy, lower mood, and those are signs of blood sugar imbalances. Now, if you have low blood sugar from skipping breakfast, skipping meals, that will increase your cortisol. Increasing your cortisol has a negative impact on estrogen and progesterone, which are 2 of the main sex hormones. And if we have low estrogen as a result of cortisol imbalances, that can lead to irregular periods. It can lead to fatigue. It can lead to weight gain. It can lead to mood swings. It can also lead to hot flashes. Not fun. Same thing happens with progesterone. If you have cortisol dysregulation from under eating, fasting, skipping meals, that will interfere with progesterone production. And low progesterone includes, or symptoms of low progesterone include, I've got a list here. Once again, irregular periods, headaches, trouble sleeping, anxiety, bloating, low libido, and skin issues such as acne, can even be dry skin, brittle hair, brittle nails. Not fun. So to keep this on the nutrition topic today, you might be asking, okay, if I have low estrogen and low progesterone, what can I eat to increase those two hormones? And I have a list of foods, but the biggest piece before I go into that is that you need to be eating breakfast. And even if you are not hungry, you need to train your body that breakfast is indeed the most important meal of the day. And I'm not sure if your mom ever told you that, but mine sure did, that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And it makes sense. It just sets the tone, sets the hormone balance ultimately for the rest of the day. Now, going back to what we can eat specifically to increase estrogen. So B6 rich foods, things like spinach, bananas, potatoes, carrots, chicken, walnuts, all great choices. Vitamin C rich foods, so strawberries, bell peppers, citrus fruits, of course. Zinc rich foods such as pumpkin seeds, shellfish, chickpeas are great. Magnesium rich foods such as nuts, avocados, and dark chocolate. Who doesn't love dark chocolate? And last but not least, fiber rich foods. So things like broccoli, sweet potatoes, avocados, leafy greens, spinach, kale, pumpkin are all great choices. Now, to increase estrogen, and I guess this would specifically be for women who are perimenopausal, menopausal, your estrogen, well, all your hormones, your sex hormones end up decreasing, but low estrogen definitely has an impact on women. Sore joints, brain fog, moody, you just don't feel good, some fat gain. So estrogen promoting foods are as follows: flax seeds, edamame, tofu can be great, berries, cruciferous veggies like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, broccoli sprouts, cauliflower are all fantastic, as well as garlic and dried fruits, prunes and apricots specifically. So this is one thing that I'm going to drive home this week, is that we are all going to be working on eating breakfast within an hour of rising, depending on if you've been eating breakfast for a while or you just don't eat breakfast, then it might impact what you choose to eat. If you have been skipping breakfast, you're just not hungry in the morning, I would suggest a protein smoothie, something liquid, something a little bit on the lighter side. Maybe a Greek yogurt bowl or a cottage cheese bowl would be a good idea. If you are somebody like myself who loves breakfast, I could eat breakfast foods. Well, I love eating in general, but really focusing on like those dense proteins, eggs. You can eat turkey bacon, regular bacon, some cottage cheese with your eggs as well, just to bump up the protein. But honestly, for protein, you can eat whatever the heck you want for breakfast. It does not have to be eggs. And this is one question I often get. What's an alternative to eggs? Any other protein. I will often have beef burgers. I will have turkey burgers. I will have beef meatballs. I will have turkey meatballs for breakfast. I will often eat leftovers from the night before. a hamburger bowl, as I just mentioned, meat protein for breakfast. And for me, it just keeps me full, satiated, clear-headed, balanced energy. Cravings are none. And I do attribute that to a like protein packed breakfast. And I eat in and around like 650 to 800 calories for breakfast. Don't be afraid to eat in the morning, ladies. Which brings me to number 2. The second biggest mistake that women make when it comes to their nutrition is that they do not eat enough protein. And if you have no flippin' idea what you should be eating for protein, this is something I'm going to want you to focus on this week, is making sure that you are eating approximately 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. And I mean your goal weight. So if you have weight to lose, or that's a goal of yours, you are using your goal weight to calculate your protein intake. And if this is going over your head, bear with me, we can simplify things even more. I'll give you an example. For myself, I weigh 160 pounds. I eat about 160 grams per day. I go on the higher end as we age. If you are in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond, then it is encouraged that you eat at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you're not even close to that, then I would suggest you obviously start at the lower end, so 0.8 per pound. So as I said, as an example for myself, at 160 grams or 160 pounds, my range of protein intake would be 128 grams to 160 per day. Now, if you're like, what? Like, I'm not even tracking my food. I have no idea. I did give you some suggestions on the meal plan template that is in the group chat. I will also be sharing more in the group chat after I'm done this live. But ideally, you want to be aiming for at least 30 grams per meal. And that's even on the low side, because if you're just somebody who eats 3 times per day, 30 times 3 is 90 grams. And I know every single one of you in this group need to be eating more than 90 grams of protein. Again, I'll give you more info in the group chat when we're done. So things to eat for breakfast. Examples can be eggs, turkey bacon, toast. It can be oatmeal or overnight oats with a scoop of protein. You could add Greek yogurt. You could add cottage cheese if you wanted, if you prefer that. It could be, as I mentioned before, a Greek yogurt bowl, cottage cheese bowl with some nuts, some fruit, that sort of thing if you're not quite used to eating a big breakfast. And honestly, you can eat, doesn't have to be your typical breakfast foods. It can be anything that has some type of protein. Protein are the building blocks of muscle. And we need muscle in order to be metabolically active. And what does that mean? It means that me just standing here waving my hands, just having muscle on my frame, just eating a high protein diet, I am automatically burning more calories. That's just science. That's a fact. If you eat more protein, your body will automatically burn more calories because of something known as the thermic effect of food, which is really freaking cool. And then even if you eat protein without strength training, which I don't encourage, but If you just eat protein without exercising, it will actually help to maintain your muscle mass. And this is one of the most important things you can do for yourself as you age, is keep as much muscle on your frame or work on building muscle. And when I say building muscle, because women get so freaked out, they think they're going to turn into like this big, bulky bodybuilder. That's not the case. We do not have the hormones to do so. I am 41 years old. I've been strength training since I've been 10. Many years, over 30 years. I lift heavy. If you've been following me for a while or you know who I am, you know I don't shy away from pushing myself in the gym. Do I look big and huge and bulky? I would say no. Some of you might have a different opinion, but I don't look that way whatsoever. Now, bringing it back to protein, nutrition, it also helps with energy levels. It's satiating. It keeps you full. It minimizes the need to have something sugary or sweet later on in the day. Now, brings me to the last mistake that women make when it comes to their nutrition. And that is eating processed food. Packaged foods, protein bars, pre-mixed protein shakes, fast food, calories in their drinks, coffees, convenience foods. We live in a world where we're just like, go. You go into a grocery store, Costco, wherever it is. There is so much packaged, frozen, pre-made food, and it's not good for us. Like the quality of the ingredients in that food, and a lot of it, like I wouldn't even call it food. If you were to look at an ingredient list on the back of a lot of these processed packaged foods, there's likely many words that you cannot even pronounce. Your body has a heck of a time even digesting and knowing what that is. If it's foreign, if it's toxic, if there's seed oils, if a lot of our crops now have been sprayed with glyphosate, Roundup, there's things such as like carrageenan, sunflower oil, canola oil, sucralose, artificial sweeteners. And I'm going pretty in depth here, but basically the message is to eat as simply as possible and to focus on shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. If it has one ingredient, like you're good to go, right? Apple, carrot, chicken, beef, potato. You get the drift here. Single ingredient foods are best. And I know that there's a huge push to get in more protein. But if you are relying on processed, I'm going to say it, crappy food, you're not getting the same benefits. You're missing out on a lot of fiber that's found in food. You're missing out on a lot of essential minerals. You're missing out on a lot of antioxidants and vitamins and that sort of thing. The thing is too with processed foods is that they have addictive properties. A lot of them are like non-satiating. They're lacking fiber, like I just mentioned. And we are overfed in terms of calories, but undernourished. So we've got these cravings. We just want more of these like crappy foods because we're not getting what our body actually needs in terms of nutrients. And a lot of these foods are inflammatory. There's so many dis-eases in the body that stem from inflammation. And sadly, a lot of the foods that we eat, gluten, wheat, I mentioned processed food, sugars, artificial sweeteners, like sugar-free, stay away from sugar-free. It's one of the worst things you can consume for your gut health. These artificial sweeteners end up just wreaking havoc on your gut. They actually make little holes in your gut lining, and then that's where we end up with food intolerances and digestive issues and allergies, because a lot of these foreign properties that we're consuming are passing the gut barrier, getting into our bloodstream where it doesn't belong, and we're having an inflammatory response to it, which causes a whack load of health issues. But yeah, inflammation. It's basically your body's response to a stressor. And when there's any type of stressor or inflammation happening internally, the body will try to fight that inflammation. Like, that's the first thing it wants to do, is have you reach this state of health, this state of equilibrium. So if you are on a fat loss journey, for example, you're wanting to lose fat, but you're consuming a bunch of processed inflammatory foods with seed oils and wheat and crappy dairy and sugar, then your body's going to hang on to all that fat. It's not going to let go of it because you are in a stress state. Your body doesn't want to let go of fat when you're just not functioning as optimally as you should. So I will wrap things up here, let you digest all of this information that I just chatted about. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, that's okay. It's a lot of info. I totally get that. What I want you to focus on is eating breakfast, eating a balanced breakfast, prioritizing protein. So you're thinking protein forward every single time you're eating today, for the rest of the week, moving forward, you are thinking protein forward. So eat breakfast, protein forward, and last but not least, we're going to focus on blood sugar balance, and I will be sharing more of that in the group chat today. All right, ladies, any questions? You can either post them here in the comments or in the group chat. Have a good one.